Welcome back into Occupy Democrats, and in this breaking story, Donald Trump goes and proves how much of a paper-thin tough guy he truly is, because he won't do a damn thing about Vladimir Putin, but he'll sure as heck push military on his own U.S. citizens for complete political gains. And my favorite part of this breaking story is his little boy Pete Hegseth over there at the Department of Defense, the Department of War, whatever you want to call it, is going to sit around and twiddle his thumbs waiting for Daddy Donnie to give him the word. And I'm going to show that story to you in just a few seconds. But remember what Pete said sounding so tough in front of the generals just the other day? This.
The words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Oh, look at the tough guy. But of course, Donald Trump himself says this.
You know, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there, I made the statement that next should be Chicago, because as you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now. And they say, we don't need him, freedom, freedom.
Tough guy Donnie doesn't stop there.
He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator.
Oh, but Pete didn't stop there.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops.
But let's realize that Pete Hegseth got into no trouble. The GOP's always talking about consequences. Consequences, but he got in no trouble for Signalgate. And yet, in this breaking story, here we go again.
I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense, and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities...
But it was something the president said today that raised a lot of concern.
Because Donald Trump will continue to try and make the claim that this country is at war in its own cities. This.
San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one.
They're saying you're trying to take over the republic.
And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military.
These people are sick.
Because he truly does want to be a dictator.
The whole thing was vile. The man doesn't give a damn about regular people, about Americans. He serves only himself and his ego.
It should scare us all. This is something that we just don't do in America.
Governor Newsom posting to social media, this speech should terrify anyone who cares about our country. Declaring war on our nation's cities and using our troops as political pawns is what dictators do. This man cares about nothing but his own ego and power. And LA Mayor Karen Bass tweeting, take it from a mayor whose city has been targeted by the federal government once. Nothing about this is normal. The last time the federal government tried to do this, Los Angeles stood firm. Our city will never accept a military occupation.
So in this breaking story, what just happened again? Maybe that boy Pete Hegseth over at the Department of Defense is still using Signal, still using an open source app, and is irritating people at Homeland Security so much they just outed him on the truth and also outed him on waiting for Daddy Donnie's order to send him in. Check out this story. Massive breaking news. Leaked messages reveal stunning plan to deploy elite military division to Dem City. Top Trump administration officials were discussing plans to deploy an elite military division to Portland, Oregon, according to leaked text messages reviewed and reported on by the Minnesota Star Tribune late Friday. In quotes, between you and I think Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth just wants the top cover from the boss if anything goes sideways with the troops there, wrote Patrick Weaver, Hegseth's advisor, in a text message on the encrypted message app Signal, according to the Minnesota Star Tribune. In quotes, 82nd is like our top-tier quick reaction force for abroad, so it will cause a lot of headlines, probably why he wants Trump to tell him to do it. Hegseth has already deployed 200 National Guard troops into Portland at the direction of President Donald Trump, but according to Weaver's messages, plans were actively being discussed to deploy the Army's 82nd Airborne Infantry Division, an elite military unit that specializes in rapid deployment and parachute assaults. Weaver's messages were sent to Deputy Homeland Security Advisor Anthony Salisbury and other high-level officials, with Salisbury receiving messages and responding sometimes profanely, while in, quote, clear view of others during an event in Minnesota, leading one individual who was, quote, troubled by seeing sensitive military planning discussed so openly to contact the Minnesota Star Tribune with images of the text messages and under the condition of anonymity. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson declined to comment on the subject matter of the text messages to the Minnesota Star-Tribune, but did chastise the outlet for shamefully, in quotes, reporting on the information and called its reporters, quote, morally bankrupt. The 82nd Airborne Division has been deployed in both world wars and most subsequent wars the United States has been involved in. While its deployment in Portland would be unprecedented, Hegseth, according to the Minnesota Star-Tribune's reporting, was at least actively considering it and awaiting explicit approval from Trump to give the order. Trump has justified his order to deploy troops to Portland by calling the city war-ravaged, with the deployment coming after deployments in Chicago, Illinois, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles, California. Now just sit back for a second and understand what that story just said. We're talking about one of our most elite divisions in the entire military being called in to an American city while people are just going about their Saturday having a latte in Portland or Chicago or Los Angeles or DC or anywhere else. I thought that's what we had a police force for locally. We use SEAL teams and 82nd Airborne Divisions for things like, I don't know, taking out Osama bin Laden and people like that. And this president is such a child and is playing to literally just the 20% of MAGAites who want to actually just take over this country and kick everyone out based on their skin color, certainly not whether they're illegal or not, that this is what Trump is continuing to do. But lest we forget in this story, Pete Hegseth, Mr. Tough Guy, is still sitting around playing on open source apps waiting for Daddy Donnie to tell him what to do. You guys like and share the video and subscribe to the channel, and man, stay frosty.